Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be watching and reacting to Ranks of Nobility Explained. This is perfect for someone like me, especially, Americans. No nobility here, nothing of the sort, and we are very unfamiliar with these terms, these ranks really of nobility and kind of how the hierarchy works. And I'm also assuming the hierarchy kind of builds in different ways in different countries slightly, maybe. Another thing that I don't know that I hopefully will learn here, is nobility different in Spain to France to Britain? You've heard lords, ladies, earls, kings, queens, and so many different variations of ranks, tree of nobility, if you will. So this will be good. Obviously, I don't have a good grasp of it. I've seen a few shows and stuff, of course, movies growing up, and you hear about these different ranks all the times. Counts, countesses, I don't even know where they rank. So my hair looks weird today. It's extra frizzy. Much better. I would like to know how familiar, once we go through this video, how familiar are these ranks to you? Do people in the UK generally know these ranks and how they are? I mean, I could probably place most of them, but there's a few where I'll, an earl or a count. I don't know. Is an earl a rank too? I don't know. I know a lot of them. I don't know those things. Let's jump into this and let's see how this goes.
Have you ever heard of Prince Charles being referred to as the Duke of Cornwall? Or read the poetry by Lord Byron? Or simply watched an episode of Downton Abbey following the exploits of the family of the Earl of Grantham? Well, no. You may have wondered where these terms come from and what they mean. These titles, Duke, Lord, Earl, are all related to nobility. The nobility was and is a social class with its origins in feudal Europe during the Middle Ages. Feudalism was a social and political system in which a king of a country bequeathed land and political privileges to nobles in exchange for services to the crown, which usually meant fighting in war. As time turned to the late medieval and early modern periods, this system became more hierarchical and more convoluted, arriving at the somewhat confusing system we have today. In this video, I will be disentangling some of these complexities as I explain the ranks of nobility. The ranks of nobility changed from place to place and changed through time. Some systems were very complex, like in the Holy Roman Empire, whose dizzying geographical and political complexity was mirrored in the structure of its nobility.
Crazy.
And some systems were more simple, like in the Empire of France, where Napoleon simplified the previously complex system of the old regime. We will be using the British system because it's the best known and is still in use to this day. There are 5 ranks in the British system.
That's way better than I thought. Thank goodness. I was expecting, 15 different ranks, and a lot of them that I've never heard of are 10 different ranks. This will be good. And I like how right off the bat he compared, France after Napoleon took over. He wiped it out and kind of cleaned it up, I guess. Kind of made it more simplified, and then the Holy Roman Empire was absolutely crazy. You probably have all these towns spiderwebbed all throughout. This will be good. 5. I like it.
In order of precedence, they are Duke, Marquess, Earl, Viscount, and Baron.
Okay, let me take this in. Marquess? I don't know. I've probably heard that before. Unless there's another term for that rank in this hierarchy. But man, it does not really ring a bell. I've heard all the other ones many times. Marquess. What is a marquess? We'll find out.
Each with their own female equivalents. In Anglo-Saxon England, before the Norman conquest in 1066, there was but one rank in the nobility, the earl. The term earl has 2 possible origins, either coming from the Old Norse jarl, meaning leader, or ealdorman from the Anglo-Saxon, which meant basically the same thing. The female equivalent, countess, gives a hint to what the rank was called in continental Europe. Count. Yes, like that guy. The earl was the basic noble lord in feudal England, controlling the different counties. Yes, that's where that name comes from, of the land. Earls are to be referred to as Lord so-and-so and countesses as Lady so-and-so. After the Norman conquest, William the Conqueror introduced the baron. In Normandy, the term baron meant much the same as earl, a representative of the king in different areas of the country, in this case called a barony. But during the melding of Anglo-Saxon and Norman societies, both terms were used, and eventually baron became the rank of nobility below that of earl. Barons and earls, who themselves were automatically given the title of baron, were often called to the king's council. This tradition eventually evolved into the House of Lords. The
Oh,
female
there we go.
equivalent to a baron is a baroness, and while you may hear barons referred to as Baron so-and-so, the correct form of address is, like with earls, Lord and Lady. In the year 1337, the title of Duke was introduced to England when King Edward III gave his son the title of Duke of Cornwall, after losing his own title of Duke of Normandy. The term goes back to the Roman Empire and was used in the German and French lands after the fall of Rome. Originally, the title of Duke was only held by royals, but was later expanded. It is the highest rank of nobility, and the title is only held by 24 people today in Britain. They traditionally ruled over duchies. The female equivalent is duchess, and dukes and duchesses are to be referred to as Your Grace.
So we have lords, we have your grace. This is good. This is extremely informative to me, where I just start mixing all of these together in different countries. It all just melds. So duchies. How big is a duchy? Is it a town? Is it a county? Is it a couple of counties? Because there's only, 21 dukes currently. So what do they even do nowadays? What does a duke do? That would be interesting to see. Nowadays, what does a duke do? What do they do? Are they like a governor kind of, or a mayor here over some land? And how much power, I guess, do they actually have? Does the queen, do the royals summon them for certain discussions? All questions that I need to find out.
And dukes and duchesses are to be referred to as Your Grace. These three ranks, Duke, Earl, and Baron, are the building blocks of the system, and subsequent ranks are derivatives of these ones. A marquess is the second highest rank, above Earl but below Duke. The term comes from the Germanic march, meaning borderland, so a marquess translates to Earl or Count of a march. The word margrave was used in the Germanic lands before it came to England, being introduced by Richard II in 1385, whose brother-in-law was the Margrave of Brandenburg. The title marquess was actually quite unpopular in the time after it was introduced. Many earls were insulted that the rank was placed above their own. The reason given for its higher ranking was because a marquess's territory was on the border, and therefore strategically more important than a normal county. The female equivalent is marchioness. They are referred to as Lord and Lady, and in some circumstances as the most honorable so-and-so.
So Lord and Lady, just like a duke. Lord and Lady. All right. I mean, I guess by the time that they were on the border, they were the counties, I guess, land masses on the border. It is pretty important. You're the outer shell, the defensive shell, if you choose, of any enemies coming in or trade, how it flows through you. So maybe in a way makes sense. Although they didn't explain much of what an earl does, so it's hard for me to compare currently. Just a guess.
Lastly, we have the viscount.
Viscount.
As the term implies, the name comes from viscount, like vice president, and the post originated as the office of the deputy to a count, or the sheriff of a county, but later it became a hereditary rank in the Holy Roman Empire in the 12th century. It first came to England in 1440 and was placed above the rank of baron. The female equivalent is viscountess. They are referred to as Lord and Lady. So those are the 5 ranks of the British nobility. Again, they differ from other historical structures of nobility elsewhere in Europe, and when you study those systems, some questions may arise. Like, why are princes sometimes placed below dukes? And why are some countries not ruled by a king, but a prince or an archduke? And wait, what is an archduke anyway? And what's a baronet? Well, those sorts of questions will have to wait for another day. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching, and that explained a lot to me. Let's go to this list. Yes, so this is what I wanted. But overall, A, good video, and B, this was very clear, very precise, and I'm just happy that it was much less complicated than I thought. Which is why, probably one reason why it's still around today. It's very, maybe basic is stretching it too much, but they all have their function, their cutout function. They're not overlapping with other counties. It's not like the Holy Roman Empire, how they did theirs. It's not massively simplified. But this is good. I am going to look up after this what each one of these does. Like, what does a baron have? A baron owns land, but how much land? And then kind of build out from there and kind of put them all in and try to figure it out. So thanks for watching. That gets a like from me. Quicker video, but I appreciate it. I'm learning more about this. I need to learn more about this before I dive into more royalty in Britain in general. So this is perfect for that. And as always, all the comments are always clearing things up, answering questions, and I like just joining in discussions there. It's great. I do my best to keep up with all the comments, but I'll definitely do that, and looking forward to it. So until next time, thanks for joining, thanks for watching, and we'll get into more of this royalty, kind of the ranks, and more history as always. So thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day.